We've thrown a lot of information at you today. You're not going to have to use your brain too much for this piece of the presentation. We're almost done. We've talked a lot about maturing, a lot about evolution today, but we really haven't talked a lot about aging, the real fact of aging. And I think we as a society are kind of obsessed with aging. If you've ever used the internet at all, you've seen a headline like this one. 18 child stars who might look nothing like you remember them. Kids grow up, aging is real, people get hot. That's good. They don't always go this direction. That's really nice. So I click through to these occasionally, I have to admit, and I clicked on this one. This is Fred Savage from the Wonder Years. I love Fred Savage. I have a connection with him. He and I are actually almost exactly the same age. He was born 1 month before I was, and this last summer he had a milestone. He turned 40. So I'll let you guys do the math on that one. That was me then and now. But it got me to thinking about what can child stars say about aging technology companies? Because in a lot of ways I think they're very similar. They both grow up under the spotlight, under an intense microscope. Everybody's watching everything they're doing step by step. You know, when child stars come onto the scene, they are by design disruptive, cute, appealing, and that's a lot like tech companies. And then they grow up. And some of them grow up great, and some of them, grow up in a different way. And that's a lot like tech companies too. You know, some of them are here today and gone before their time, sadly. R.I.P. Divine. But this, I'm not going to take it to a bummer place today. We're going to keep it happy. We're going to keep it light. I thought it might be fun to compare 5 technology companies with 5 child stars, and just see what we can learn from them for the future. So the first company I want to talk about, you've heard us talk a lot today about Facebook. It's the world's largest social network, 1.55 billion monthly active users, and believe it or not, they're the oldest company that I'm going to talk about today at 12 years old. So they've been around for a while. Now, when I first, I think of Facebook, I think of this child actor, handsome man now, friend to Broadway, Neil Patrick Harris. When I first heard of Neil, it was in a TV show called Doogie Howser, MD, and I have to admit, when I first saw him, I thought it was a little obnoxious, right? A little know-it-all kid, and honestly, I felt the same way about Facebook. When I first heard about Facebook, it was an exclusive website at Harvard about rating the attractiveness of your fellow classmates. That's pretty rude. But thankfully, both Neil and Facebook diversified over the years. Neil did things like Harold and Kumar movies, did stuff with puppets on the internet, and of course, everyone's favorite, East German rocker, Hedwig. And Facebook also diversified. They embrace things like virtual reality with Oculus Rift. They're going to be doing some cool stuff with that in the near future, I think. They're doing great stuff with location and with beacons. And not everything that they've tried has been a knock-it-out-of-the-park success. Their initial mobile strategy, and calling back to Lisa's approach about cross-device, their initial mobile strategy was to do everything in the browser with HTML5. They weren't going to build an app, and people didn't like it. So they changed, they pivoted, and they decided that they were going to build an app, and I bet almost everybody in this room now has that app on their phone. So the point is they're diversifying, they're trying new things, and I think that's to be applauded. Looking to the future, Neil was tweeting a lot this week, I follow him, about his upcoming movie, A Series of Unfortunate Events. He's going to be embracing his darker side by playing Count Olaf, who's an antagonist, he's an arsonist. And thinking about the future of Facebook, other than Facebook Live, you've got Facebook Marketplace, which is kind of like the Craigslist of Facebook. And some people are wondering whether or not they're embracing their darker side. Damien asked me what was in that bag when we ran through this presentation. I said, I think it's oregano. I'm sure that's what it is. Only 10 pounds. Okay, company number 2 is Snapchat. Snapchat is everywhere. Lisa mentioned this earlier. It's ubiquitous. It is very popular with young people. They famously turned down a $3 billion bid from Facebook, and they're the youngest on my list at 5 years old. And Snapchat reminds me of this guy, Bart Simpson. All right. Technically, Bart is not a child actor, but He is childish, childlike, and he's everywhere. When I was growing up as a kid, we would go to Wildwood, New Jersey in the summers, and you could not go anywhere without seeing Bart Simpson on everything. He was dolls, T-shirts, water bottles. He was ubiquitous. And I kind of feel like that's where Snapchat is today. It is absolutely everywhere. It's in every meeting that we're having in the agency to do filters, not just in New Jersey. And I think kind of like The Simpsons, where sometimes older people try to relate to The Simpsons to be relatable to other people. I'm not going to play this video, but if you haven't seen Ted Cruz's Simpsons impressions, they're terrible. It's a fantastic video. You should really watch it, but they're horrible. And I have to admit, before our great team at Situation explained to me what Snapchat was, I pretended to be conversant in it. But I'm much better now. And so looking to the future, Damien also mentioned the Snap spectacles. We think, that they may be taking a page from The Simpsons and going down the merchandise route. Let's hope they have better luck with it than some other companies that have tried some wearable technology. And again, Damien mentioned these before, but one of the reasons that I think we're more excited about spectacles, I think they're doing some things right. Number one, they're a lot less expensive than Google Glass was. They don't nearly do the same thing. We're not trying to say that they do, but they have a similar perception in people's minds. And they're also doing some fun stuff with how they're distributing them. Google Glass you couldn't get. It was very exclusive. But with spectacles, they did a thing last weekend where there's a scavenger hunt. You can go find a vending machine, and anybody could buy them if you get there in time. So we think that's a really smart play for the future. Okay, third company, Slack. How many people know about Slack? Raise your hands. Good. Oh, fantastic. Slack is a cloud-based collaboration tool. A lot of people in our agency love it. It's very popular with project management and software developers, and let's face it, those people are the real heroes. Let's give it a hand for our PMs. Software dev, PMs. Thank you, guys. They're about 7 years old, believe it or not. They were older than I thought they'd be. And they remind me of this guy, Michael J. Fox. Why, you may say? Well, both Slack and Michael J. Fox are both proudly Canadian. They're both really, really hard workers. This isn't the first time we're calling out Back to the Future from this stage. Tom Lorenzo did it a few events back. We love Back to the Future. But fun fact, when Michael J. Fox was filming this movie, he did most of his filming at night because he was still doing Family Ties during the day. So really, really hard worker, much like those who depend on Slack. They both have done Super Bowl ads to be kind of more relatable and get their name out into the world, and we think they're fun and cute. Michael J. Fox's was with Diet Pepsi. We think it made both brands kind of more relatable, but people were wondering, are they selling out? But they were great ads. Looking to the future, just a couple of weeks ago, the founder of Slack took an open letter out in the New York Times basically saying, we know there's a lot of competition in the world. Damien mentioned in the upfront that we're consolidating and there's less diversity in the kinds of partners that we're working with. So we really, he basically said, bring it on. We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. Microsoft can go, you do whatever. And we're really happy about that because we want Slack to stick around. We don't want them to vanish like Marty almost did at the end of Back to the Future. Okay, fourth company, Instagram. Hugely popular photo sharing and photo taking app. It's also probably on everybody's phones. Instagram reminds me of Winona Ryder. Specifically, Winona Ryder from Beetlejuice. Her character, Lydia Dietz, famously said, "My whole life is a dark room. One big dark room." Love that movie. You should watch it again. So it seemed appropriate for a photo app. And here's another Winona Ryder movie. Who knows what this is? Heathers, right. Heathers, extremely popular movie, very popular with teenage girls also, much like Instagram. If you have not heard the This American Life episode where they talk about how teenage girls use Instagram, you should really listen to it. It's going to blow your mind. It's amazing. Also, Instagram has been accused of maybe taking some things that didn't belong to it. I clearly don't have to say anything else about that. But we are very excited for Winona and her future. She got rave reviews for Stranger Things. Season 2's just been announced, and hopefully it will live up to the hype. Instagram is also working its own hype machine. They're saying, pretty soon we're also going to have live video. And, as Damien said, we're kind of excited by that. They'll probably do it well, but the hype, do we need another platform for live video? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, last company. Thanks for hanging in. YouTube. We love YouTube, the world's largest video sharing site. And by itself, it is also the second largest social network and search engine. That's pretty impressive. But when they first started out, YouTube was a scrappy little company that was founded by two friends from PayPal that were going up against the likes of Yahoo Video at the time. Does anybody remember Yahoo Video? And that reminded me of Ralph Macchio, a.k.a. Daniel Lorenzo, was it? Well, the Karate Kid. We're going to call him the Karate Kid because that's what we all remember him. You know, they were both taken under their wing by mentors, right? For Daniel, it was Mr. Miyagi, Pat Morita, and for YouTube, it was Google. And it's hard to argue that they're not both the best around. And you're welcome for putting that in your head for the rest of the day. It's not going to leave. Looking to the future, YouTube is trying to figure out whether or not people are going to pay for something that they've gotten for free. YouTube Red's been around for a little while. And if you're wondering whether or not you can get Ralph Macchio's autograph at Comic-Con, you can for $35. So, wrapping up. In the words of every sitcom ever, I feel like we've really learned something today. What have we learned? Diversify if you're a tech company by all means, but don't forget what made you popular in the first place. When we first saw Neil, he was playing an obnoxious TV character, and even when he was playing Hedwig, he was playing an obnoxious TV character on How I Met Your Mother. So, you know, dance with who brung you. Second, there is always someone cuter and younger ready to take your place. It's just a fact of life, folks. And the last thing is, if you feel like you've come to the end of any particular road as a company, don't be afraid to pivot from where you started. You might just end up happier in the long run. Ron Howard famously started as Opie. Now he's an Academy Award-winning director, but the smile is the same. Love that about Ron Howard. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate your time.